Hello, who's your fans, who's your haters, and everyone in between. This is the Crimson Coliseum podcast. And on today's episode, we're going to be discussing week nine and the 8 game slate, which is the first time in a couple weeks we had 8 games that are being this weekend. And let's just get right into it. There's not much to really discuss here. We've got the Washington game tomorrow. We're going to discuss that on Sunday is actually the first men's basketball game where it's a scrimmage with Tennessee, so that'll be interesting. I might talk about that Monday, how that went. But starting with Friday, starting tomorrow, we've got one game on. We got my number 13 USC, 3-4, 1-4 conference play, hosting my number 14 Rutgers, 4-3, 1-3 conference play. Now this is a big game for both teams. If Rutgers can win, they'll be one win away from getting into the bowl game, whereas USC needs this win desperately. They're 13.5 point favorites. I don't think they're gonna. I think Rutgers will cover, but right now I have USC winning. I just think at home, USC's been solid, and but they're going to be in desperation mode. They're going to need to win this game. Going into Saturday, when we have two noon games, the first one is my number four, number 13 Indiana, 7-0, 4-0 conference play, hosting my number nine Washington, 4-3, 2-2 in conference play. It's a 5 spot difference, and I really think Indiana's run game is going to be prevalent here. Um, Washington has not been good against the run, and their front seven is not fantastic. So I think it's gonna with how good our O line is, I think it's gonna be we're gonna see a big day from Justice Ellison, from Tyson Lott, and even Caleb Black's gonna have some good runs in there too. That's my opinion. But I think Indiana's gonna win. It'll be I think close in the beginning, but Indiana will pull it out in the end. And the second noon game is my number two, number four Ohio State, 5-1, 2-1 in conference play, hosting number 10 Nebraska, 5-2, 2-2 in conference play. And with both of these, Indiana is a 6.5 point favorite. Meanwhile, Ohio State's a 25.5 point favorite over a 5-2 team. But I think Ohio State gets this win very easily. I'm sorry, Nebraska fans. They'll try the next game. You probably win when the next game gets a bowl game. But right now, Ohio State's just gonna. It's not gonna be. We can see another 56-7 game. Oh, sorry. We can probably see another 56-7 game. Honestly, sorry, Nebraska. Heading into the afternoon games, at 2:30, we got a couple 2:30 games. We got my number one Oregon. Why did I say Ohio State? I'm so used to Ohio State being number one. Number one Oregon, 7-0, 4-0 conference play, hosting my number five, number 20 Illinois, 6-1, 3-1 at conference play. And Oregon is a 21.5 point favorite, and I think they're just gonna start quick and just not look back. It's sorry, Illinois, but this is not going to be that close, low scoring game that there was against Penn State. It's not going to be fun. And then next game that's at 2:30 is my number eight Iowa, 4-3, 2-2 conference play. It's hosting my number 15 Northwestern, 3-4, 1-3 conference play. That's a 7 spot difference, and I think Iowa's going to win. I think they do cover. It's a 13.5 point spread in favor of Iowa. I think they do cover. I just don't think it's Northwestern's year this year, especially with the quarterback issues that they have. And then I believe the last game that's at 2:30. I just want to make 1,000% sure. Real fast. It's that last game at 2:30. It could be a 6:30, but I think it's a 2:30. Yeah, it's the last game of the 2:30 window. It's my number 11 Minnesota, 4-3, 2-2 in conference play, hosting my number 16 Maryland, 4-3, 1-3 in conference play. And the 5 spot difference. I feel like I should have Maryland higher, but right now I'm holding them down because of that Northwestern loss. But I still have Minnesota winning. I think it's going to be a close game. Maryland might take the lead near the end, but I think the way Minnesota has closed out games recently, I think they're going to close it out strong, get that last score, and get the win. And then going to the 6:30 games, we got my number six Wisconsin, 5-2, 3-1 in conference play versus my number three Penn State, 6-0, 3-0 conference play. Penn State is a 6.5 point favorite, and I feel like this is going to be a close game. I think Penn State's going to win. Wisconsin's been on a roll recently, but I think that stopped now. It's nothing against Wisconsin. I just think Penn State's that good. But it could be interesting, especially when it's at since it's in Madison and all the students are going to be jumping around. And then the last game, both of the Wisconsin Penn State in this game are at 6:30. It's it's a Michigan battle. Number 7 Michigan, 4-3, 2-2 in conference play. They're a 4-point favorite over my number 12 Michigan State, 4-3, 2-2 in conference play. And I feel like I needed to have an upset here because there's going to be an upset. Hopefully, it's not Washington, Indiana. Hopefully, gonna knock on some wood here. Hopefully not, but I think it's going to be Michigan State. Michigan has been free falling, and with their quarterback issues, I just don't like the way that Michigan's going to win this is if they're going to pick off Childs, which it's honestly not that hard to do recently. Because I think he has the most interceptions in the Big Ten. But I think the quarterback's going to be the big thing, and Childs is better than Tuttle or Will or Howard. Who's the other quarterback? Just going to make sure. Warren, yeah. And he has 6 interceptions too. Um, but I think Michigan State wins even though it's on the road. Is it on the road? Yeah, I believe it is on the road. It's in the big house. Yeah, it's hard for teams to win in Michigan, but with the way Michigan right now is free falling, I wouldn't be surprised if Michigan State gets this win. And the only two teams that are on a bye this week are UCLA and Purdue. So, but honestly, that Michigan State game should have been honestly second to last week of the season before the Ohio State game. Personally, that's what it should be. Like I feel, in my opinion, your trophy game should be in the last 2 weeks of the season. But that is just me. Let me see what's next week. Looking at it next week, how many games? Well, we don't have a Friday game. We have 8 games, so we have 8 games and none are on Friday. So that's a good sign right now, at least, because we got 3 games that are to be determined based on who wins and who doesn't. So yeah, that's gonna be all for today. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. Share on all platforms in Alaska. Who do you think is gonna be the biggest upset?